But what I want to talk about in the accountability, and I appreciate the need to do this from a couple point of view. Tell me about the accountability, responsibility from that individual person's point of view, because there's still a journey to go through here. They need to sit down and say, okay, outside everybody, who am I?
Yeah, and that's exactly why that second phase around meaning is so important, because this is what the meaning thing is about, right? So that meaning piece that you do with couples is about saying, who am I in this relationship? Who are you in this relationship?
Yeah.
What is this relationship about?
Yeah.
So you need to understand what's happened with all three elements for you to understand why it happened. Because without that piece of taking ownership, and dare I say, your partner taking ownership, because it doesn't happen in a vacuum. Unless we're talking about somebody who really isn't unwell.
I was going to come to that in terms of the other partners, and I don't want to. I want to.
Don't use the word contribution.
No. I wasn't even going to use the word contribution. I was going to use the word role, and I even stopped myself with the role. But the reason why I think what you're saying is important, because right now we're talking about the I just had an affair situation. We're not talking about the serial affair, right? We're not talking about, every 6 months or every 12 months or that's just who I am. And in that process, there needs to be an ability to reflect and stop you.
Yes.
By understanding who you are in, yes, the relationship, but even, just who are you?
Yeah, but why would you? So why would you? If there are no consequences and you're not caught, I can imagine that you wouldn't. But if you're caught, even if it was serial, if you're caught and you help each other walk through that first phase, and as you walk into the second phase, and of course it doesn't happen in this beautiful linear way that I'm describing, but I think it's important to just have a sense of the journey. In that second phase, Vic, is where you then try and understand how you got here. But my sense is it's best to do it inside the relationship. So I hardly ever, unless we're dealing with a psychiatric illness or an addiction of some sort, or violence, if we're not dealing with any one of those three, then who you are needs to be looked at inside this relationship.
I hear you.
Because it's in the relationship that you will find your most growth.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So not role, not contribution. So there's and I was about to say on the woman's side, because usually but on the person who's affected side, how do they traverse this process? What is it that they're going to have to now start really engineering in their minds to try and, for want of a better word, move forward?
Yeah. So
can you use that word, move forward? Is that, you kind of hear it all the time. Why don't we just move forward?
Yeah.
Why don't we just move on from this? That was then.
And you move on, but you absorb it into your body. You absorb it into the fabric of your relationship. It is part of who the two of you are.
Right.
You can take it and walk with it, or you can put it between you and walk different directions. But it becomes part of your history, part of your fabric. And you choose, the two of you choose whether that becomes the obstacle or that becomes what actually brings strength to your relationship. Because in the third phase, when you re-envision your relationship, it's got to be different. Because the person who did not cheat but was cheated on, although one doesn't talk about contribution, there definitely was a dynamic. Because there were two people in that relationship. Yeah. What was that dynamic?
Yeah.
And if they can't own it, they can't have a new relationship. You can't start again.
Because you're both then bringing back exactly what you had before.
And that's the hardest thing, Vic, I must tell you. For when we do we do a deeper men's process. But if you haven't done inner child work, it's possibly difficult to see the dance that the two of you have had that led you to this. Yeah. It's possibly difficult for the person who was cheated on to own any part of this.
Yeah.
Because what you're owning is not the action of your partner. What you're owning is the way that your relationship worked.